What's good, YouTube? You know who it is. Chef D, back again for Chef State of Mind, and today we're making something real simple, real easy. It's gonna be a shrimp scampi-esque kind of dish, okay? We're just gonna take shrimp, a little bit of sausage, some fresh vegetables, some nice pasta, then make a real good sauce with it. And I'm gonna send you guys on your way, alright? So, I'm gonna go ahead and cut up all these vegetables, get everything all set up and real nice for you guys. We'll be right back. Okay, so we got all the vegetables cut up. Right here we got one whole onion, a quarter of a bulb of fennel, which is kind of like a anisey, licoricey kind of vegetable. It's kind of like an onion in appearance. We have some sliced garlic in there also. Here we have some red bell pepper. You can use green, yellow, whatever you want. I just like red because it's a little bit more sweeter. Next, some fresh tomato. Just dice that up. And then we have right here some finocchione, okay? Finocchione is just a type of salami. Has a little bit of fennel in it also, which is gonna compare nicely with our fennel right here. And then we just have our shrimp, of course, all right? Okay, so we got a pot of boiling water here for our pasta. We got a nice pan getting nice and hot. Okay, so let's go ahead and just throw our pasta in, and yes, we're using dry pasta, okay? It's a pandemic going on. We don't have time to make our own pasta. All right, we're trying to stock up on all the dry goods we possibly can. I'm gonna add about half of the box. Yeah, that'll be fine. This water is heavily salted. I like to put a little bit of olive oil in my pasta water also, okay? Gonna give that a little mix around. I'm just gonna let that boil for about 6 to 8 minutes, all right? Now, we got our non-stick pot right here, nice and warm. I'm gonna use a generous amount of olive oil, okay? I'm gonna get us a nice wooden spoon. I'm gonna dump that right in there. If you don't hear that sound, your pot wasn't hot enough, all right? Remember, this is the onions, the fennel, and the garlic being all sauteed, okay? We want this to turn translucent. We don't want to caramelize it. We just want it to be translucent, okay? It's gonna kind of open up all the flavors. Gonna get a lot of sweetness from the onion and the fennel, and then a little bit of nuttiness from the garlic, okay? And these are the only things that's gonna take, a long time to cook. Everything else we're gonna keep real nice and fresh, all right? You don't want to season this too far ahead of time. You want a lot of the water to come out, but you don't want it to come out too fast because then you're gonna start to stew everything, okay? So I'm gonna let this saute for about five minutes, we'll say, okay? Okay, so while you're sauteing everything, you want to make sure that you're also mixing around your pasta because you don't want it to stick together, all right? That olive oil is not enough to make it not stick. You want to keep moving it and agitating it, all right? So next, I'm going to add in our finocchione or whatever you want to use. You can use prosciutto, you can use just a regular kind of salami, use Italian sausage, whatever kind of sausage you want to use is 100% fine. If you don't eat pork, do something like bresaola, okay? We're just gonna dump that all in there. Now with a nice medium dice, okay? And this is the point where you want to start adding your salt, okay? If you're using some kind of cured meat, you don't want to overdo the salt because a lot of that salt from something like prosciutto is gonna start to leach out and start to season everything else, okay? I'm gonna add some fresh cracked pepper. I like a coarse grind, like you guys always hear me say. I'm gonna use a lot of it, okay? I'm gonna give that a little mix. We're gonna let this saute for another like 3 minutes. You want the oil from all the cured meat to kind of leach out and flavor the onion, fennel, and garlic, okay? Okay, now that we got our finocchione, it's kind of giving up a lot of its fat and flavor into the vegetables. We're just gonna add some diced red peppers. I kind of wanted to keep a little bit of its crunch, so we're not going to cook this for very long. And then I'm gonna add a little secret, all right? And add some tequila, okay? Now, what I'm gonna do is take a blowtorch and light it on fire, all right? Just like that. If you don't have one, don't even worry about it. It'll cook off on its own. I'm gonna give that a mix. Just want to get rid of a lot of that alcohol flavor, and it's gonna leave a lot of the sweetness and the smokiness that you get from a traditional tequila. Okay, just blow that out. You're just left with the aroma from it. Okay. Then next we're gonna add in our tomatoes. God, that smells good. Then those tomatoes are gonna start to give up a lot of its juice and a lot of its acidity, and this is where we're going to start to build our sauce. Let's go ahead and check this pasta while we're over here also. You don't have to throw this against the wall or anything. The best way to tell if it's al dente is just to taste it. Now, that's almost perfect, okay? What I'm going to do is just let that sit in the hot water, then it'll start to soften up as it sits there, okay? Next, gonna add a good amount of butter, right? Probably about a quarter to a half a stick of butter, all right? You kind of want to turn down your heat a little bit as you're doing this, because you want to try and keep the integrity of your sauce. You don't want it to break too early, because then it'll be harder for it to come back together once we start to add a little bit of our pasta water, okay? This is the point where you want to start to kind of try and taste everything, all right? That is perfect. That is 100% perfect, right? So now we're gonna add our shrimp. This was just about a pound of shrimp, deveined it, peeled it, and then cut it along where the vein is, just so I get a lot more yield out of it. Everybody kind of gets a good amount of shrimp in each bite, okay? You could chop it up if you wanted to, but I didn't feel the need to do that. We're just gonna let this pretty much sit in the pan, wait for the shrimp to be cooked through. That's probably gonna take about 2 to 3 minutes. You don't wanna overcook your shrimp. You could add a little bit more salt just to season that shrimp through, some more pepper, then just let it cook. Also, we're gonna go ahead and reserve some of this pasta water, because that is flavor right there, all right? So I'm gonna try my pasta again in about 2 minutes, strain it, and then we'll be right back. Okay, now that our shrimp is pretty much all the way cooked, just gonna add in our noodles. We did not rinse these, we just strained it. Okay. Just gonna give that a nice toss. I'm gonna take that pasta water. Just gonna add a little bit of that into there, all right? That's just gonna add a lot of body to our sauce. That's gonna help it to, the starch that is that came from the pasta, gonna help it start to thicken also. Then of course you want to taste this again. Shouldn't need any salt, because remember, we salted our pasta water. We also seasoned this to perfection. And that is fantastic, all right? All right, guys, that's how it's done. Simple, triple, easy pasta, all right? So, this literally took me about 25 to 30 minutes, including prep, all right, guys? This recipe is probably the easiest thing you can possibly do if you're on a time frame, all right? So, remember, like, comment, share, subscribe. Watch these videos over here, subscribe somewhere down there. I'll see you next time. As always, I'm Chef B for Chef State of Mind.